brand new from Glen Scotia. I think it's come out a day or two ago. So hopefully one of the first reviews on YouTube for this whiskey. Glen Scotia 12. Let's talk about it. Hello everyone and welcome to Whiskey Wars. I'm Ash. Let's get straight into this whiskey. I'm really excited to talk about this whiskey today. It's a new release from Glen Scotia. It's 12 years of age. It's unpeated. So most of my Campbelltown whiskies have been peated. In fact, I'm trying to think of an unpeated one and I can't think of one. So this is my first unpeated from Campbelltown. I think my 10th bottling from Campbelltown, there or thereabouts. It's 12 years of age, 46% ABV, so really impressed. The one I was thinking of is the Harbour, which is a new one from Glen Scotia 2 that came out a few months ago. I've done a review on that if you want to check that out, but that is non-age stated and 40%. This is 12 years of age and 46%, so I'm expecting a really good dram of whiskey. And it says as the notes on the bottle just before we start, tropical fruit and coastal spray. So it sucked me in. Anything with tropical fruit, as you guys know, I just love. So let's check this one out. Glen Scotia 12. Just before we start though, guys, let me know in the comments down below. Were you interested in this whiskey? And have you actually heard that this whiskey's come out? And how do you all feel about unpeated Campbelltowns? I would love to try Hazelburn, I just can't get my hands on that whiskey unfortunately. Actually, should I do let me know in the comments down below guys, should I do Kilkerran 12 versus Glen Scotia 12 as a whiskey war for you guys? Do let me know in the comments down below because I'll film that for you guys, definitely. That'll be an exciting one actually. Sometimes it's good just talking to a camera because you can come up with ideas. And that would be a great video. I never even thought of that. Apologies for the shorts, guys. It's boiling in the UK today. I do live in a loud environment, so I have to close the windows to film, put bright lights on me as well, and it's probably about 32 degrees inside of here right now, so I need the shorts on. Few things that I want to speak about. The classic, I think, with Glen Scotia, as long as it's a non-sherried Glen Scotia, because they just are very different. They get very affected by the cask. But in all of my ex-bourbon Glen Scotias, there is a similar theme, whether it's peated or unpeated, and this is that bitterness with a sweetness attached. Majority bitter with a bittersweet, and it can come across a bit tangy and funky. This doesn't really hit the funky note, it's a touch tangy, but it's mainly a lot of bitterness with a touch of sweetness. And I attribute it to like an engine oil feel and maybe a touch of licorice in there too. It's a really nice note, but it's a very niche note. I don't get it in any other whiskey, and that's including Springbank and Kilkerran. I just don't get it. It's something particularly present with Glen Scotia. However, that sweetness is quite nice because they do mention tropical fruit, and I really don't think this is the power of suggestion, but I do get tropical fruit on the nose, although it's not strong tropical fruit, but it's there. There's a citrus touch to the whiskey too, lemons and limes that are just adding this element that keeps it from being too sweet, keeps that tropical fruit from jumping out too much. The bitterness and the licorice do that, but also the citrus does that, and it does actually create quite a complex nose. Did I get a little bit of mint in there? There's life to the nose. Not too woody, which I really like. I am getting some vanillas coming through as well. So like vanilla, cream, mint, not too much mint, just subtle. Lemons, licorice, a substantial bitterness to the whiskey, but this engine oil, dense thickness, lovely stuff. I love that in my Campbelltowns. Okay, let's get straight onto the taste, guys. If you are enjoying the videos, please click the like button down below and that subscribe button. That's much appreciated. Really does help the channel out, so thank you. Just went to pick this up, might record this next. Let's go for round 2 on this. The first taste was a little bit more of a drying wood and less flavour, but a saltiness to it. So they say coastal spray, and it reminded me actually of the Harbour. So the Harbour, if you haven't checked that review out, it is quite an interesting one. But for me, there was this lightly salted wood presence on the whiskey, and I got that on the initial taste with a touch of sweetness, not much more. So second taste, let's go back in. And there we go. Okay, wow. So that bitter tanginess that I talk about with Glen Scotia, it's really hard to break down. But if you've had Glen Scotia, and by the way, that's peated or unpeated, as long as it's not sherried, you will know what I mean. It's present in my 15 and the 10 cask strength, both peated. It's also present in this whiskey too. Not present in the Harbour. It's a real dense, bitter oiliness, and that's the best way I can describe it. And underneath that, there is this sweetness. There's also a substantial saltiness to this whiskey. And so here's something else while I was drinking this whiskey yesterday. The more you drink this whiskey, the saltier the whiskey actually gets, and it turns from like sea breeze, sea air, coastal spray as they say, it changes from that to more saltwater, seawater. So a substantial saltiness to the whiskey. However, to balance that out, I actually think the sweetness, the bitterness you acclimatise to, so that just stays there and actually subsides, and the tropical fruit actually grows, so it becomes sweeter but also saltier, and so it never gets too sweet or too salty, if that makes sense, but you're getting both those notes in abundance. But I really like the fact that the tropical fruit notes actually grow the more you drink. So this is a whiskey that I really would say, don't just have a dram of and make your mind up on the whiskey. So if you're in a whiskey shop, for instance, and you have a dram of it, or you're in a bar and you have a dram of it, I would actually say this is one of those whiskies where don't make your mind up too soon on the whiskey. It's just one of those that you've just got to have a couple of drinks of. And really, by the end of that second dram, it should be really quite different from the start of the first dram. And that, to me, interests me about a whiskey. I don't know whether that makes it more complex, but I have to say, for a 12-year-old unpeated whiskey at 46%, this is really quite nice. I'm actually a big fan of this whiskey. It's not one of my favourite whiskies, but then again, what was I expecting? It's 12 years of age, and let me talk about the price. So this retails for £45 in the UK. It's just come out. Currently it is exclusive to the whiskey shop. I think in time it will probably open up to just everywhere, but for right now it's the whiskey shop in the UK. Also, they have some stores in France, so European market will be able to get hold of this whiskey too. I'm unsure about, well, I'd imagine right now it's not available in America or anywhere overseas outside of Europe and the UK, just because of that. So again, I go back to the nose and I do get this vanilla cream with a touch of mint as well, which really does improve the whiskey. And it like I say, that bitterness at the start really does subside the more you drink it and smell it. I actually really like this whiskey. I'm going to be honest. It's not a love, but it's a very, very good. And I actually really recommend this whiskey. With Glen Scotia, with their ex-bourbon cask though, it's a whiskey that I actually refrain from recommending to everyone, because I actually think there's a nicheness to Glen Scotia, and it goes, I think a lot of people think Springbank and Kilkerran, big, heavy, polarising whiskies, but I actually feel like Glen Scotia, even though it's a lighter style, that bitter oiliness is quite polarising, and I think quite niche, that people would enjoy that. Again, I would always suggest going for a sherried Glen Scotia before you go for an ex-bourbon cask, just because of that. I think it could be quite like Marmite, quite polarising in that regard. But if you do enjoy other Glen Scotias, I would say really consider this 12-year-old. I really do like it. Do let me know in the comments down below, guys. Have you had this whiskey? It's brand new, so maybe you're an early adopter and you've had it. Let me know in the comments what you think of this whiskey. Or let me just let me know in the comments if you've actually heard this whiskey has come out. This could be the first review on YouTube, I don't know. Do let me know if it is. I'm going to enjoy a few more drams of this whiskey, and actually may well record this because I only have maybe 2 or 3 drams left of the Kilkerran 12, so it could be a good excuse to film this whiskey walk. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please hit that like button and that subscribe button, and also that share button. Share this video with friends if you want. It really does help me out more so than anything else. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all for the next whiskey walk.